Hello everybody, I am joined today by the fabulous Glenn McIntosh, who is a friend. He's a weight psychologist and he is also a leopard lover.
A fellow spirit leopard.
We were going to pretend that this was an accident, but I don't. We've got matching watches.
Synchronize your leopard watches.
We've got earrings, or you don't, jackets. Yeah, we've come together because we have a very common interest in people and our love for people and getting people to embrace their bodies, and also on the side.
The side thing is the
it's
leopard
a side
thing.
Yeah. But thank you so much for joining me today. We have so many questions that come out of our community around weight and body image, and I thought, let's just get together and let's get these questions answered.
So cool.
To help people.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive in.
Okay.
A bunch of questions here, and yeah, you good to start?
Oh, let's go.
Let's do this.
Give it to me.
Okay. I feel like I'm reading the news.
Yeah. Tuning in with Taryn and Glenn McIntosh.
The first question is, how do I disconnect healthy eating from my old diet brain? Every time I attempt to start eating healthier, overall my brain is like, oh my God, this feels like a diet. F this.
Yep.
And then I end up binging or just going back to mediocre eating with not enough of the good stuff.
Yes. This is a good question.
Yeah.
This is a great question because it's like, you know how harmful the dieting process can be. You know, it leaves you at a high risk of disordered eating. It's not good for your mental health, and it leads you to just do this yo-yo. And so there's so much benefit from just letting go of diets. Mm-hmm. You know, your eating starts to balance out. You're not having those sort of diet binge cycles, and that's just wonderful. Mm-hmm. But then for a lot of people, they still then want to reconnect with a healthier form of eating. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like you get a bit of like diet trauma. Mm-hmm. It's and the tough thing is that some of the things that we do to take care of our health and to take care of our eating, they kind of will still feel a bit like a diet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I like to talk to people about having what I call a dieting career change. So it's like you think you've been in a shitty job, you know, crap wages, everyone's trying to micromanage you, and now you've escaped that job and you're in this new position, and it's like there's a reward for your effort, the pay's better, the conditions are better, but you still have to work.
Yeah, sure.
You know, you still have to do something. So I think that would be the first thing I would encourage you to do, is actually just start to think to yourself, okay, I want to take care of my eating, but I've had a dieting career change. So those thoughts will come back and they'll be like, oh, I'm dieting. Yeah. And you have to go, actually, you know what? No, that was my old career. Mm-hmm. This is okay. Mm-hmm. The thing I do want to say there about that though is you have to make sure that you're not actually doing a diet.
Yeah, and I think this is where a lot of people come unstuck because they call it something else in the guise of.
Yep. Yeah. So a simple, like if people out there are wanting to know if they're doing a diet or not, this is what I do with my clients all the time. There are 4 main dieting factors that we know are linked with all that yucky stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's like the less the better. Mm-hmm. So if you are focusing on how your food choices affect your weight, you're dieting. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it doesn't matter what you call it, a cleanse, a way of eating, a lifestyle change. If it's about your weight, you're dieting. Yeah. If you're separating foods into allowed, forbidden, good, bad, healthy, unhealthy, that's diet.
Definitely.
Yep. If you're skipping meals or trying to spend extra time, like doing Michael Mosley's rubbish, I don't know if I can say that, but I'm saying it.
Boo! Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, we won't get bullish, but boo.
Yeah, boo. So if you're skipping meals or spending a long time between meals, so ignoring your signals of hunger and fullness, you're dieting. And then if you're limiting your calories or restricting them or keeping an eye on your calories, you're dieting. So if you're doing any of those things, you're going to get all of that. Probably you're going to get all that yucky stuff that comes with dieting, the preoccupation with food, the restricting and then binging and feeling terrible about it, and all those yo-yos.
Oh my gosh, the amount of times on a Monday I have cleaned out my fridge, I've gone and dropped like $400 at the shops on all these new foods, and it's almost like I'm on a diet again, and now I can forget about all the binging I did on Sunday night because the diet's here on Monday. Here I go, and then by Wednesday I'm like eating a burger. This was old me. Of course, I don't do any of that anymore. But I remember that so vividly.
Yeah.
Mondays were like, here I go again.
Yeah. So it's about like sort of having a new, like doing a new thing. You have to actually make sure that you're not doing any of those dieting factors for you to get those different results. But then still sometimes you might have to do something and that might still feel a bit diety.
Sure.
So if you're sure that it's not, then you can remind yourself, actually, you know what? That was my old career. I'm having a dieting career change, out of dieting into a new role. And this thing, maybe it's like planning my meals, or maybe it's cooking dinner rather than eating out, or whatever it is. You go, actually, this is okay. This isn't something that's part of normal, healthy living, and it's not something I'm taking with me from that yucky dieting background.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. And it's a great first question, which then leads into question number 2, which is, I want to stop using food as a way to handle stress. This is not from me. But
Asking for a friend.
That's right. But I haven't found a way to stop. I usually feel worse afterwards because I wasn't able to control the impulse. Is this normal? And how can I start to have a more healthy relationship with food that isn't based on emotion?
Yes. So big one that a lot of people have. I saw this on Instagram. A lot of people had a similar question.
They did.
Yep. First thing is super normal. Super normal. Like people always wonder, why do I emotionally eat? And I just say it's just because you're a human being.
Great.
Yep. So we can like map it back to the pleasure center in your brain and the satiety center, so the fullness center. They speak really closely to each other. And we know that if you put just a newborn bubba on its mum's tummy, it just knows how to find food. Your brain, and you think about that. This is weird. We're going to get weird. I don't remember it. But you think about that, I think about that journey you took as a baby, and you imagine how confusing and weird that would be, coming from this like warm, safe space into all these lights and strange people and everything. And then you sort out your first most important thing, you take a big breath, and then shortly after you're looking for food, and that's your first emotional eating, that physical nurturance and that emotional nurturance. And we just build on that neural mapping. So it's totally normal to emotionally eat. And I think emotional eating is like a lot of coping strategies. If you do it every now and then, beautiful.
Yes.
Sometimes helpful.
Yes.
But like anything, when you start to over rely on it, it can turn into something else.
So what can we do instead?
Okay, so what can you do instead? I think the first thing to recognize is that it's like this person asked, and a lot of people will say this, is recognizing that it actually doesn't work very well. So I say that there's no nutritional solution for an emotional problem. So it's like, if you can recognize, we kind of know this, but if we can recognize in real time, no matter what I'm feeling or what the problem is, the answer is not in the fridge. And the way you can tell that is like, you know how sometimes you're not hungry, but you still want to eat?
Yes.
And sometimes you're like, I really want, say, chocolate, and the chocolate just does the trick. But other times you eat chocolate and you either know it's not going to do the trick or it doesn't do the trick, and then you're looking for something else. And
Absolutely.
Yep. So that's a good time we can go, okay, maybe this is not about me wanting food, which is awesome, or my body needing food. This is about something feeling wise.
Yeah, sure.
So I think when you realize that, we all want to feel better, right? So just because you don't emotionally eat doesn't mean you're going to stop wanting to feel better. And so and this might sound a bit backwards, but if you can close the door to something that you know won't work, your mind wants to feel better. So it will start to look for ways, and people don't believe you, but try it the next time you're emotional. Say to yourself, actually the answer's not in the fridge, and let yourself sit with that discomfort, and you won't like it, and another answer will come.
Yeah,
you might
I like
need,
that. That does make a lot of sense.
Yep. And it's like, we don't have to say you could go, maybe it's need to go talk to a friend, or maybe you need to go and smash yourself at the gym, or whatever it is.
Cup of tea. Sometimes I try that one.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work.
It's
I do like my chocolate, but at least it was always for me about food. Food was always the way out when I was feeling sad, even when I was feeling happy, any emotion. I'll eat for any reason. But really just being in tune with my body and understanding that wasn't always the greatest choice, just to smash chocolate. And then I started sort of making cups of tea and going, oh, this is nice. This has created a space of calm.
Yeah.
I don't know, just...
Because you don't necessarily need that food. You need to deal with your feelings.
Yeah. God, talking to a psychologist.
You just need
Who
to
wants
deal with your feelings.
feelings?
Ugh, feelings.
But yeah, there was a lot of questions around emotional eating, and I think sometimes too, there's just so many people are stressed. I think people are disconnected
From
with
your feelings.
themselves and their feelings
Yep.
and their lives,
Yep.
and I think that's a large part because of social media and our phones, and just we're so.
Well, it's
into
so
this.
easy, isn't it, to go, oh, this is I'm uncomfortable, I'm bored for 1 second, let me just do this.
Yeah, but I just don't think it was never how it was meant to be. You know, we eat on the run. We don't sit and enjoy the pleasure of that apple there or the orange, or today I had this most beautiful salad that looked like a rainbow, and I ate it and it just felt amazing.
So you reminded me of something. Because we often do, all of this relies on you getting in touch with your feelings.
Okay.
And we had a little joke about it, but often you actually don't really want to feel your feelings,
Yes.
especially if they're unpleasant feelings. So a super simple thing you can do if you think, oh, I don't know what I'm feeling, is just put your phone down and get a piece of paper. So all you need is a piece of paper and a pen, and you do what psychologists, we love big words, what we call free association writing. But really all it is you just write. So you sit down and you write. It doesn't matter what you write. So you just start writing. Don't censor yourself, and what's going on for you, it'll come up.
Interesting.
So people start and they're like, okay, I'm going to do this exercise. And they write down like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Glenn's making me do this exercise. I can hear a bird outside. And then they, halfway down the page, are like, I can't believe my sister said that to me. She always treats me like I'm the dumb one. You're like, oh, there it is.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I've never used that technique, but how simple. We can all try that.
Yeah, give it a go.
Can you guys send it in so we can read it?
Send it in and let us know. Oh, yeah.
We keep it totally anonymous, but I would love to actually see that
that would be cool.
unfold.
Yeah, send them in.
Yeah. Okay, right. We've got to stay focused because we can't
Okay,
be here all day.
focus.
Not that we're not being focused, but I'm just excited that they've got homework and stuff. I'm going to do it too. I'll share mine too. So the other question we had here was, do individual people have a natural weight range?
Yeah.
Is there an alternative of a way of determining your ideal health range? And this particular person said, I'm broad-shouldered and have a wide rib cage and broad knees and wrists and everything.
Yep.
Seems odd to have a general height weight calculator such as BMI.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm saying nothing with no judgment. Please do. BMI to tell us, talk through.
we're going a little short BMI rant.
Short.
I'll
yep.
try and keep it short. Very super short BMI is rubbish.
Yep.
So it was developed in the 1700s by a dude named Adolphe Quetelet.
Yes.
This guy was a guy who researched planets, geography, and massive relationships between people. So he was this like broad scale mathematician, and he himself developed it as a population measure. And he said, this should never be used to measure an individual's health. So as soon as you go to the doctor and the doctor says, this is your body mass index, you need to do X, Y, or Z,
Yep.
that's a little lie. I call it BMI lie.
It's a pretty big lie
It's a massive lie.
bought into.
I think of it as the world's most obvious conspiracy theory. And when you talk about, this person, you're so right. It's a bit broad. It's a broad stroke thing, and that's why it's okay as a population measure. But doctors up until the 80s used to use, remember those height weight charts?
Yes.
And there's one for men, one for women, because women naturally carry more body fat than men, and they're shorter. So that just makes perfect sense. So at least you could break it up that way.
Yep.
But when the BMI became popular, it's just the one BMI for men and women. So the problem then starts, it's not that women carry more body fat than men. That's life. It's speaking in generalities. The problem is that in general, poor women have been hoodwinked into thinking that their extra body fat is a problem.
Yes.
And that is why I think most of the people watching this will probably be women.
Yes.
It's why 95% of the people we see are women.
Yeah.
Because that natural difference in body shapes, society, and part of that is through the BMI, tells us that there's a problem with that, whereas that's actually really natural and normal.
Why are they still using it? Why do we know this information? And yet it's still a measure that's out there.
Drug companies.
Oh, that's a big one to go. And question number 4.
Wait, can I add to something? I'm sorry.
No,
I
here we
won't
go.
add anything.
So, we said we'd do this in one take, and now you're going to go controversial on me.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it was nice knowing you. I'll see you in jail. So you're lucky I didn't go into the actual link between drug companies and BMI. But then the next question people have is, well, how do I know what my healthy weight is? How do I tell what my range is?
Yeah, sure.
And I don't want to sound flippant because I know how important this is to people.
Yes.
But what I say to my people is you actually don't have to worry about this at all.
Yes.
It's like if anybody tells you that you have a certain body weight that you are supposed to be and stay for the rest of your life, they're either lying to you or they're an idiot.
Yep. Or they're a lying idiot.
Or they're a lying idiot. They could be both. They're not mutually exclusive. It's like a lying idiot. But your body knows.
Yes.
So I don't know what your weight's supposed to be. There was a lot of questions like, how do I tell? Your doctor doesn't know. You can't bank it on what I used to weigh 20 years ago. It's if you just take good care of yourself, you eat fairly well without getting crazy about it, you move your body regularly, you take care of yourself, your body will do all the maths. Then the diet culture's, I think, sneakiest hoodwink is then they've convinced us that your body should weigh less than that.
Yes.
So then the real key, and this is actually, it's easy to say, but it's hard to do, is when you reach that natural weight, because for most of us, our natural body weight is not going to conform with society's ideal that we've then internalized. The real key is understanding that when my body's happy, then I can be happy.
Yeah.
And that's when you do the body image work.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm really glad that you added to that because I know there's a lot of people out there who are just confused.
It's confusing.
Be healthy, but and also we're so programmed to want the figure. We want to know the number, aren't we? Like we want that as a metric to
absolutely.
work towards.
Yeah.
We talk about this in the program in Embrace You, but just quickly for anyone who's watching, a couple of different metrics for evaluating our health. Like for me, I tell people. You're getting to the top of the stairs and you're less puffed than you were a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Awesome. Easy.
Yep.
Have you got any others that you could?
Yeah. The first one comes to my head is mindset. It's like how you're feeling.
Yeah. We forget about that, right?
Yeah, and then we kind of also feel like you say, weight becomes this almost like the gatekeeper to your health and well-being and success. But you think about what you want. Do you want to be able to walk a further distance, or do you want to have less pain, or do you want to feel happier, or do you want to be in a better relationship? And rather than assuming weight is the gatekeeper of that, use that metric itself and target that directly. Kind of cut out the middleman.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to dive straight into, is this the final question, I think? Oh no, second's the final question here.
Okay.
So, we can all get and have good intentions and motivation to get fit and be healthy.
Yep.
How do we stop being lazy and actually put those good intentions into real actions? How do we
good
get off
question.
the couch?
Good question. Okay, so I think first things first, because psychologists, that's a massive part of our job, is actually just bridging that gap between intention and action.
Yes.
But you can't do that when you don't have a good relationship with exercise. So I think the first step is make sure you have a good relationship with exercise. Now, the psychology of movement is often a lot easier than the psychology of exercise. The psychology of food, sorry. Yep. When I think about your relationship with exercise, I think about, imagine if, and you can do this now, imagine if your best friend said, hey, let's catch up, let's have a coffee, let's have a beer, let's have dinner, and they said they want to do it in the next week or so. How likely would you be able to do it? Pretty likely.
Absolutely.
Then think if it was your most annoying relative, like think of that person,
Yeah.
don't say who it is, and I don't have any annoying relatives.
Of course
Hey
you do.
everyone. And think about whether you'd have the time to see them in the next week or two.
Yeah, no, I can't see.
It's too busy.
2020.
Yeah.
I open up in March.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
2099, I'll see them. It's really important that you have work on your relationship with movement, because if you don't have a positive relationship, positive attitude towards exercise,
Yes.
it's always going to be like the last thing on your list, the first thing to drop off. So, and really that comes through actually prioritizing the relationship. So it means we actually focus on stuff that you can enjoy, stuff you feel confident in, stuff that you don't feel a lot of embarrassment or shame or guilt when you're doing, and prioritize that relationship over the physical benefits.
Yes.
So the relationship comes first.
Yeah.
And then when you're looking forward to it, it's a great question, because sometimes, you could say to yourself, I actually really enjoy that. I'm going to feel better afterwards,
Yes.
but you just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So this is a really cool little hack.
I like
Psychologist words. We call this experiential time forwarding. But it's the easiest thing in the world.
If I didn't know him better, I'd be like, what a wanker.
What?
Right
Thanks for saving me.
Say it again.
It's called experiential time forwarding, but I call it daydreaming.
Oh, I love a good daydream.
So let's do it now then.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, and you guys do it at home too. If you want to, just like sit,
Why am I holding my
relax
legs? Am I
back.
holding
You
my
don't have to do anything. Just don't fall over. And then close your eyes and take a couple of breaths. And I want you to just think about just some type of movement that you like doing. And then actually imagine you're doing it. So, your mind can't tell the difference really between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So actually imagine you're doing it and tell me what you see, what you feel, what it's like.
Can I open my eyes? Like, it's joyful, it's
Yeah.
fun. I'm dancing.
You're dancing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the technique. All you do, because often, you might know you want to do it, but there's some barrier. And often what it is your logical, rational, conscious brain is going, this will be a good thing, but your emotional self just doesn't want to. And so what we're doing with this exercise is you're actually imagining you're doing it, and you're not knowing the benefits, you're feeling the benefits. And so that allows you to connect, I understand this is going to be a good choice, with I feel like I want to do this. And then you just do it for like 30 seconds, a minute, and when you feel like, oh, this is really fun, I'm dancing or I'm doing whatever it is, and you want to get those benefits in real life, then you just go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
I do like that hack.
Yeah.
Even though it's like a really big, long
I
word.
call it,
Daydreaming.
I call it daydream yourself active activity. So daydreaming yourself active.
Yeah, I like that a
Yeah.
lot. That's cool. That's something I definitely want to continue that conversation.
Okay,
Because I
cool.
think that would be very helpful for people.
Yes.
Because I still meet so many people who are going to the gym and hate it, like 5 days a week. No, gotta go to the gym. I'm like, well, if you gotta go to the gym, why are you going to the gym?
Yep.
Go do something else.
Yep.
There's 1,000 ways to
Yep.
move. And I just don't think they have that relationship of, I've
Yep.
got a choice here. I can think about what I want to do and how I want to move.
Absolutely. And that's, I think, the important thing about all of these little hacks is if you, and this is a funny thing we get into for psychologists, people are like, oh, you'll just psychologize me into doing everything that I should do.
Yes.
But we really want to help people develop a positive relationship with food, positive relationship with movement.
Yes.
And then the hacks are like sprinkles on top.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. I psychologized you to wear leopard today, I reckon.
Yeah, correct. The Australian Psychological Society is rolling their eyes as we speak.
I know, this man has an incredible bio, and I've gone, wear leopard.
And here we are.
Actually leopard. I'm sorry,
Twinsies.
this kills your career.
So am I.
Okay, is this the final question? Yes, it is. Okay, final question.
I'm reading it. Yep, okay.
I want to lose weight,
Yep.
but I also want to embrace my body. Is it
Oh,
possible
yep.
to do both? We
Yep.
get this question all the time.
This is a massive, massive one. Okay. I'm going to tell you a story about a Lamborghini.
Okay.
This is a story I tell my clients. I just started telling a client once this randomly. It just came to my mind, and just work with me.
Okay.
Okay, so studying psychology, I learned quite early that you can really, your mind is so powerful. You can use your mind to really kind of be and do and have kind of anything you want. And I wanted a Lamborghini. So I set some goals, some positive intentions, and I was like fairly well along the path of my Lamborghini goal, and I was seeing extra clients. I was saving a lot of money, so I couldn't socialize a lot. And I realized at some point along this journey, it was probably like maybe 18 months or longer, probably a couple of years into this journey, that the goal, because I have this thought that a Lamborghini would make me happy. And don't get me wrong, if a Lamborghini rolled up in the car park, I would love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But what I realized was that for me, the dream of a Lamborghini was very different to the reality. The reality of having that Lamborghini goal and the totality of how that goal affected my life, it was making me anything but happy.
Yes.
Seeing my clients who I love to see was becoming a stress. I wasn't getting to see my friends and family. So I had to look at it and think, okay, well, after reflection, for me, the Lamborghini is actually not a good goal. So it doesn't mean that I wouldn't love having a Lamborghini.
Sure, but
But-
pain in the ass. Where are you going to park it at Woolies? There's
Yeah.
always going to be a problem.
I
Someone's
just
gonna
park it
scratch.
right across to.
You're going to come, he'd get out of his Lamborghini wearing his leather jacket, and someone would be
People
like,
like-
I am going to scratch that dude's car.
Just, it would just come, not again. This happens every week. So, but of course, a Lamborghini is part of this collective lie we buy into that things will make us happy. And that is true to an extent. Certain things do make us happy. But the biggest collective lie that probably both of our people have is the thin equals happy.
Absolutely.
And so what I would say is whether being this ideal weight would make you happy or not, you have to sort of really look at your life and what would be required to reach that weight and to maintain that weight, and look at the totality and the reality of that goal.
Yeah.
And think, is this actually something that's good for me to focus on?
That happened to me when I got off stage, when I had that perfect bikini body after training for it. I walked off that stage going, well, I can't do what I've just done for the rest of my life. No way. No, in fact, I could, but I would have been very unhappy.
Yep. So you could have that perfect body, and by now I could have that Lamborghini,
Yes.
but neither of us would be happy.
No, that's right.
And we wouldn't be sitting here probably having this awesome conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Yeah.
the Lamborghini. That's very
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad you don't have one.
Me too. And there's there's a little point to this point, is that you can, people do this because this thin ideal is so ingrained in us. It's not a problem that you will look at someone who has this thin ideal and go, oh, that'd be great. I look at the Lambo and go, well, that'd be cool. But then I have to pull myself back and go, actually, that's not the best goal for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And for me, I love doing meaningful work. I like, creating programs and working with other health professionals. And if that someday leads to the point where I can buy a Lamborghini, cool.
Sure.
I will be even more of a wanker
Yep.
than someone who uses massive psychology words.
I've got your back, people.
Yeah.
I'll scratch it.
Hey.
Yeah.
And it's the same with weight loss. If as a result of having a lifestyle that you're happy with and a good relationship with food and movement and having a rest of your life around that, so it becomes a part of your life and not your whole life,
Yes.
and then your body's happy to lose weight, then well,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, and I've actually heard quite a few stories from people in our community where they actually have lost weight when they stopped trying to lose weight.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
it totally happens. I think that we don't want to, though, turn this into a secret diet, because people do that. You turn body love into a secret diet.
Really?
Yeah. So
I don't think I've ever come across this.
really, I reckon you probably have. Because what people do is we don't want to sell the idea that if you love your body and then you move it more, you eat well, then sometimes I think weight goals are so powerful. I think it's like a drug, like an addiction, that we give our mind an inch and it takes a mile.
Yeah, sure.
So we just don't want people to it's like, if your body loses weight at some stage, great. If I get the Lambo someday, great. But there's no guarantees.
Yeah, sure.
Because otherwise then we can just quickly jog, like just get sucked back into that diet mindset so quickly.
So we never talk about weight. Well, weight is a number on a scale is just, it's not relevant to any of the conversations that we actually have.
Yep.
It's about how your body feels. It's about what your body can do and all those other metrics that we talk about.
Yep.
But that's going down another road that we won't go through today, because I think I don't know, because my watch has stopped. I don't know how long we've been talking for. We could have been in a time warp.
I was going to make a worse joke.
Well, you go on, say it.
It's round clock.
Oh God, that was
Psychologist joke.
that was bad.
Sorry everyone. Sorry.
It has been so good. Thank you so much for letting me come up here and ask you these questions. There were a lot
pleasure.
of questions.
Yeah.
For everyone who's watching this, Glenn McIntosh is part of our next round of Embrace You.
It's going to be cool.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You'll get access to him. You'll be able to ask all your questions and he can answer them. And for me, it's really important, I know it is for you too, to give people practical strategies that they can walk away and go, okay, in my crazy life, I can actually do something really simple that can have a real profound effect. And it's just sort of adding lots of those strategies and tools in the toolkit.
Yeah,
That's
you got to
what
know
it's
how to turn the principles into practice. When that rubber hits the road, it's like, yep, I've got the idea, but how does it work in real life?
For sure.
Yeah.
So, yes, if you want to join us, Embrace You, I'm sure there's details somewhere.
Yep.
But until then, we'll just be,
Just
cruising
leoparding
around,
out.
See everybody.
See you guys.